So AI coding assistants, they're promising a total revolution, right? But are they really the great equalizer we hoped for? Or are they kind of secretly picking winners and losers? In this explainer, we're going to dig into the hidden bias that is literally reshaping the entire tech landscape. This whole thing kicked off with a really cool idea called vibe coding. The dream, and it's a big one, is that any developer, doesn't matter how much experience you have, can just describe what they want to build and poof, the AI just handles the tricky parts. It's this amazing vision of AI as the ultimate equalizer. But, okay, here's where we have to pump the brakes and ask a really critical question. Is this new AI-powered world really a level playing field? Or just beneath that super helpful surface, is the AI quietly making the popular kids even more popular and making it way harder for new ideas to even get a foothold? And that question brings us right to the heart of it. It turns out these AI coding assistants, they aren't neutral referees at all. There's this hidden bias, kind of like an unseen force that's tilting the whole game in favor of the technologies that are already at the top. So what's going on here has a name. It's called the Matthew effect, and it comes from sociology. It's that classic the rich get richer idea. In the world of AI, it means that technologies with a ton of public code, more data, get way better AI support. And that, of course, just makes them even more popular, creating this powerful feedback loop. The promise was pretty simple, right? AI was supposed to be this amazing universal translator that made the specific language you chose totally irrelevant. But the reality? It's a biased ecosystem where AI plays favorites, feeding right back into that rich get richer cycle. And look, this isn't just some theory someone cooked up. Researchers actually ran a massive experiment to measure this effect. So let's dive into the actual data, because it tells a fascinating story, a tale of two very different tiers in the world of AI coding. Okay, so check out this table. It just lays the problem bare. Just look at the insane amount of data out there for languages like Python and JavaScript compared to something niche like Erlang or Racket. I mean, we're not talking a small difference here. We're talking orders of magnitude more training material. This is literally the fuel for the AI models. So it's really no surprise that what goes in, well, it affects what comes out. And this is what happens because of that data gap. For Python, one of the top AI models gets the code right on the very first try almost 80% of the time. For Erlang, it's less than 25%. That's not just a gap, that is a massive chasm. The AI is just flat out better at coding in the popular languages. But wait, it actually gets even worse. When the coding problems get harder and more complex, that gap, it doesn't just get bigger, it absolutely explodes. The success rate for popular languages on tough tasks can hit 63%, but for the niche languages, it plummets to less than 6%. That makes trying to innovate in these smaller ecosystems incredibly difficult if you're leaning on AI. And what's really telling is how the AI is failing. For these niche languages, it's not just getting the logic wrong. A lot of the time, it's literally just spitting out gibberish, code that won't even compile. It's just a wall of compile errors. That tells you it has a fundamental lack of familiarity, like someone trying to write a novel in a language where they only know a handful of words. And listen, this isn't just a language thing. This same rich get richer effect, it plays out across the entire developer stack. An AI can whip up an app with a mainstream framework like React or Django in just a couple of tries. But if you ask it to use a newer, maybe more innovative stack like Solid.js, it just struggles or sometimes fails completely. So, you might be wondering, what does this all mean for the people actually building new technologies? Well, they're not just taking it lying down. The creators of these frameworks are now actively redesigning their tech to survive in this new AI-driven world. Yeah, one of the big framework authors put it perfectly. He said AI is no longer just a tool we use, it's become a force of nature. Think of it like this giant gravitational pull that's constantly warping the landscape around it. You can't just ignore it, you have to figure out how to design your technology to work with that gravity. So, how exactly are they adapting to this new gravity? We're seeing three big trends pop up. First, there's AI-first design, where frameworks are actually simplifying their own special syntax to make it easier for a generic AI to understand. Second is isomorphic first, which is a fancy way of saying they run the same code on both the server and the client to make things less complex for the AI. And third, async first, which basically builds in safeguards so that even if an AI clumsily pastes code together, the whole system doesn't fall apart. And this quote from Ryan Carniato, who created Solid.js, just hits the nail on the head. It's not just about who can write the fastest code anymore. No. Now it's all about having a strategic vision for how your technology is going to survive and hopefully thrive in a world where AI assistants are everywhere. Okay, so let's tie this all together. What does this actually mean for the future? Well, it looks like we're playing by a whole new set of rules now. Rules that are being written by the biases and the abilities of AI. I think the biggest takeaway here is this concept of an AI productivity tax. Think of it like a hidden cost, right? It's all that extra time, the extra friction, the constant bug fixing you have to do if you decide to use a less popular technology with an AI tool. And that tax, well, it can really discourage people from experimenting and trying new things. And this is where it gets really ironic. What's happening is that AI is basically becoming the biggest echo chamber ever built. Because it's not quite smart enough yet to handle new or really complex ideas, it just pushes developers back towards the simpler, older stuff it was trained on. So get this, its own shortcomings are actually what's forcing everyone to stick with the status quo. And all of this leaves us with one huge final question. With all this incredible power, is AI really accelerating innovation and pushing us into the future? Or is it just helping us build a slightly more efficient, consolidated version of the past? The answer to that is probably going to define the next decade of tech.